Chanla, capital N-A-R.
And you are currently the chief of police for the Delphi Police Department?
Yes, sir.
That's a relatively new assignment for you, is it not?
Yes, sir.
When did you become chief?
Mid-July.
How would you characterize your duties?
Right now we're down multiple officers, so I'm assisting with patrol duties. I've been working on writing grants, obtaining equipment, and also training and other various duties.
And prior to becoming chief here, you've had a history in law enforcement, a career?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you were with Lafayette as well, right?
I was.
How long were you there for?
From 2006 to 2019.
Upon becoming chief, you became familiar probably with city and department written policies?
Yes, sir.
Conduct?
Yes.
And just to give the board, to the extent they probably know all this already, but make a record also, I guess, describe what policies exist in terms of written conduct requirements.
So we have a large binder full of policies that govern conduct and behavior, both on and off duty, as far as arrest, training, just everything that covers the job. We have policies.
Is this citywide? Everyone that's a city employee gets this policy, or is this your department policy?
There's an employee handbook for the city, and then there's also a policy handbook for the police department.
And are your officers with the Delphi Police Department expected to abide by both?
Yes.
Are they given copies of those
Yes.
upon hire?
Yes.
Are they required to read it?
I would believe so.
And I don't know the answer to this. Do they sign it? Do they have to? They have to sign an acknowledgement that they've been provided a copy of those things?
I believe the personnel files have that, yes.
Kind of give us an overview, if you will, of the rules, the written code of conduct for the law enforcement officers in general. What kind of stuff does it cover?
It covers everything, again, from police operations, off-duty conduct, everything that we do. We're in a position of public trust, and we have those policies that govern everything from emergency vehicle operation, transporting people, handcuffing suspects, and so on.
I'm sure part of a written code policy for behavior and conduct would include not breaking the law, right?
Correct.
Honesty?
Yes.
Integrity?
Absolutely.
Those kind of things covered?
Yes, sir.
I'm handing you what's marked as 7, tab 7 for everyone. Take a look at the different pages on there. I'm not sure if you've ever seen that particular exhibit before. Just let me know when you feel that you had a chance to do that.
Yes, sir, I do recognize it.
Are those excerpts pretty much from the larger policy manual or code of conduct manual?
Yes, sir.
I keep calling it policy code of conduct. What do you call it?
Policy manual.
Okay. And each of those, is that a true and accurate copy of the rules as they exist right now and existed this past year?
Yes, sir.
And do those include copies of each of the different rules that you cited Officer Bernhardt with violating in this particular matter?
Yes, sir.
Should have probably just brought both of these to you, but handing you now 8. Do you know what that is?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's an excerpt from the policy and procedure manual that was signed by Officer Bernhardt.
Is that part of the police policy or the city policy?
That would be the city side. City
Okay.
policy.
And it says something about type 2 rule violations. What does that mean?
So with these group 2 rules, if violated, could be subject to discharge pending board of works hearing.
There's a set of like rules and kind of, those are, it purports to be kind of examples of non-exhaustive list, right?
Correct. It would be impossible to come up with a list of everything that could happen.
So Exhibit 8 shows type 2 rules that if broken could subject you to disciplinary action, including termination,
Yes, sir.
and a list of different things that you could violate to do that, right?
Correct.
But also indicates that it's not exhaustive.
Correct.
Okay. You're familiar with Officer Bernhardt
Yes, sir.
and Officer Justin Wilson,
Yes, I am.
and of course you certainly have learned about why we're here, right?
Yes.
How'd you learn about it?
Throughout this investigation and then the notice of the requested public hearing.
Well, what I mean, not necessarily this particular proceeding here, but how'd you learn about the conduct?
I had the conduct reported to me by Officer Wilson.
What'd you do when you heard about it?
Almost immediately, as Officer Wilson, I believe, has a duty to report such conduct. I believed I had a duty to report to the mayor such conduct as well.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
What happened after that?
We met and discussed how we don't have the means currently set up in this department to properly investigate and to contract with a third-party company to investigate the matter.
You don't have an IA or internal affairs.
Correct.
So our company is retained,
Yes, sir.
and that we've learned in this hearing is called CSI.
Correct.
Were you involved at all in that hiring process, or?
Yes, I was.
Tell me about the company. Who are they? What do they do?
I sought out a company to investigate this again, since we're not equipped. Being new in this position, it seemed appropriate. So, to be honest, it was a Google search, and spoke with a representative who said that yes, they handle instances like this. It was then forwarded to the city attorney to vet and possibly contract with them.
Did you actually yourself do any hands-on investigation into this case before CSI completed their inquiry?
No, sir.
After CSI was done with their inquiry, did you get a copy of that report?
I did.
Did you read it?
Yes.
And what did you do at that point?
It was handed over to Sergeant Deckard for that process.
What process?
For the process of, so how it should go in a police department, the number 2 would conduct the investigation, since the number 1 is making the recommendation. So it was provided to him. After
Sergeant Deckard, so CSI does their part, you refer it to Sergeant Deckard, and after he does his part, are you back involved again?
Yes.
In what way?
Once all of the investigative documents are provided to me, I was tasked with making a recommendation based on the findings in those reports.
Well, did you have to, first of all, decide as chief whether you think a violation occurred?
Yes.
Did you do that?
Yes.
And there is something that was read at the beginning of this proceeding today, titled Statement of Written Charges. Do you know what that is?
Yes, sir.
Did you prepare it?
I did.
Handing you 9. Is that what that's what it purports to be? Is that your statement of charges?
Yes, sir.
So basically, you're provided with facts that are determined during an investigation, right?
Yes.
You review those facts, and then you review the policy manual.
Correct.
And then you decide whether those facts support violations of the different things in the policy manual.
Yes, sir.
And in this statement of written charges, there purport to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different rule violations, and I want to go through them with you. So looking at the very first one on the first page of that, it says rule number 306, performance of duty. On the subsequent pages of the statement, you put down, you copy kind of what the rule is, but it doesn't say how you applied the facts to the rule. So I'm going to ask you, why did you think what occurred in this case constituted a violation of Rule 306, performance of duty?
Well, the language in 306 states displays reluctance to properly perform his assigned duties. And in this case, trading signatures for training that doesn't happen is not properly performing assigned duties.
And then you cited Rule 311, obedience. Why did you think that the facts that you discovered during this investigation supported that allegation?
Remember, shall strictly obey and promptly execute any lawful order issued by a ranking officer or person of proper authority. Needing to, one, conduct that in-person training, and two, training needs to take place in order to exchange those signatures.
And when you say in person, are you referring to Officer or former Chief McCain's policy on hands-on training?
Yes, sir. And then it's worth noting in the rest of that, with performance of any duty prescribed by law or policies and procedures, special orders or directives. Special orders or directives being emails like have been discussed this evening.
Understood. Rule 319, untruthfulness. That one sounds kind of obvious, but tell me, what was your reason for that one?
Again, if we're going to exchange signatures for training that didn't happen, that's untruthful.
Rule 324, soliciting a reward.
No member shall solicit any reward for the performance of his duties individually or collectively. Holding out your signature as an EBO instructor as a reward to get a signature on training for DTs would be soliciting a reward.
328, false information and records.
Again, if you're trading signatures without training taking place, the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy and Law Enforcement Training Board trust their instructors to conduct training and sign off on said training on the roster under affirmation. And had Officer Wilson answered affirmatively, it would have created false information.
Rule 401, violation of law.
No member shall willfully conspire to violate, attempt to violate, or violate any law. There are multiple laws, felonies violated had this been a completed action.
Yeah.
And conspiring is against the law,
What about attempt?
also against the law.
Have you ever arrested somebody for an attempted violation?
I believe so.
General behavior, Rule 410. Or
Remember-
402, sorry, 402.
No member shall act or behave privately or in any official capacity in such manner to bring discredit upon himself or the department. Again, falsifying records and breaking law brings discredit on both the officer and this department.
410, Code of Professional Ethics.
Members shall regard their office as a public trust and in the discharge of their duties be consistently mindful of their primary obligation to serve the public efficiently and faithfully. Again, falsifying records and breaking the law is not mindful of the primary obligation.
Finally, 411, neglect of duty.
No member shall deliberately or grossly neglect his assigned duty, nor act in an incompetent manner when in the performance of those assigned duties. As an instructor for this department, you should not deliberately or grossly neglect your assigned duty, which would be training and not just signing off on it.
After you prepared that, well, first of all, tell us what's the date on that statement of charges?
November 10th.
Did you call Officer Bernhardt the same day?
I did.
For what reason?
To meet with me at the Delphi Police Department to receive these charges and sign that he'd received them.
Did he answer you?
He did.
Did you record the call?
I did.
Why?
as part of this investigation, I found it appropriate to record conversations with Officer Bernhardt.
Did you ask him to come down?
I did.
Did he?
No.
Why?
He told me that he had had dinner and had a couple of beers and requested to know what it was about.
And did you tell him at that point what it was about?
No, I told him that I had some paperwork for him.
So did you make arrangements to meet with him some other time?
I did.
When?
The following day.
Did he come?
Yes, sir.
Did you explain what was going on?
I did.
And was that recorded?
Yes.
And just tell me about how that exchange went.
I explained to him that I didn't think that it would be appropriate for us to have much conversation with these charges and what could be a pending hearing. So we very briefly went through the charges. He signed that he had received them, and for the most part, that was the end of that interaction.
I have now the recorded phone call.
First, it means that if I plug that in, I would have to turn my volume on, which turns that volume off. So can we use another computer?
We could use whatever you need to hear it.
Can we use yours?